Hi, my dear students. Good morning. Welcome to the online video class session of Political Science, second semester. So, my dear students, the second semester is exclusively deals about the Western political thought. So, in the part of Western political thought, we need to discuss various important personalities of the, the Western thinkers. So, how the political thought is originated and what are the contributions given by various Greek political philosophers and medieval political philosophers, and also modern political philosophers of Western. So, this semester, the second semester, is exclusively deals about the Western political thought. So, my dear students, so for your convenience, I was prepared PPT. So, let's go into the PPT in detail. So, my dear students, this is the BA Political Science first year and second semester. So, as per Shatavahana University curriculum, in the second semester we have the paper Western Political Thought. So, here Western Political Thought exclusively deals about approximately 12 important personalities. So, they are some of them, some of them are from ancient Greek, and some of them are medieval period, and some of them are belongs to modern period. Okay, if we see the PPT, we can get an idea about the images. So first three images who are belongs to a Greek political thought, like Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. And whereas in the medieval, Saint Thomas Aquinas and Machiavelli. And in modern political thoughts, so there are various Western political thinkers like J.S. Mill, Herbert Spencer, but here we have only a few members are there, like J.S. Mill, Karl Marx. So like this, we have to discuss about these important personalities in the semester. So my dear students, the first unit is let us discuss about the Greek political thought. So before going to the first unit, so let us discuss about the syllabus copy of this second semester, Western political thought. So as per the academic year of 2019 and 20 of Shatavahan University, the Western political thought is comprised of three units, five units. So the first unit is exclusively deals about the Greek political thoughts. So in the part of Greek political thoughts, there are again three subunits within the Greek political thought. So the first unit is exclusively deals about the Greek political thought and sophists, and the second subunit is deals about the Plato's concept of ideal state and Plato's concept of education, and the third subunit is within the first unit is exclusively deals about the Aristotle. So Aristotle is the father of political science. He was proposed various forms of governments, and he was proposed his ideas on slaverism and the best state. So these are the things we need to discuss in detail about the Greek political thought, which is inserted in the first unit. And whereas the second unit is exclusively deals about the medieval and modern political thought. So here in the medieval political thought, the Thomas Aquinas is one of the important person who was proposed the Christianity ideas. So that is why he was called as the Christianized Aristotle, and he was given a clear-cut statement about the church and the state controversy. The controversy between the church and state is given by the Thomas Aquinas. And the second important personality of medieval period is Nicholas Machiavelli. So Machiavelli was one of the most important personality of Italy. So he was proposed these ideas on the human nature and statecraft. So Machiavelli in his book, the Prince book is written by Machiavelli. In his book, he was strongly proposed the statecraft, how the king should behave, and what are the strategies has to be followed by the king. So these are the things were clearly mentioned by Niccolo Machiavelli in his book The Prince. And the third unit is exclusively deals about the social contractualists like Thomas Hobbes, John Locke, and J.J. Rousseau. So these are the important personalities. But before going to discuss the third unit of social contractualist, we are already discussed about the social contractualist in our first semester as part of the origin of state. So in the origin of state, there are different kinds of theories about the origin of state, like divine origin theory, social contract theory, historical evolution theory, force theory, matriarchal theory, patriarchal theory. So like this, there are various kinds of theories about the origin of state. But the social contract theory is exclusively explained by Thomas Hobbes, John Locke, and J.J. Rousseau in the modern period. So here in the third unit, we need to discuss about the Thomas Hobbes and his individualism. And he was proposed the absolute sovereignty. The Thomas Hobbes was strongly supported to the absolutism. And whereas John Locke was proposed the natural rights and limited government. So according to the John Locke, the limited government is the best government. The government should be there, but it has to be function in his limits. So that is why he was proposed the limited government of the John Locke. So these are the third unit. And whereas the fourth unit is exclusively deals about the utilitarian thought. So in the utilitarian thought, we have to discuss about two important personalities such as the Jeremy Bentham and J.S. Mill. So Jeremy Bentham was proposed the utilitarian theory, and it was proposed the hedonism. So utilitarian theory, according to the Jeremy Bentham, he was proposed a philosophic calculus to calculate the individual's pleasures and pains. So each and every individual has his own pains and pleasures. But how much an individual is enjoying the pain and how much pleasure he has enjoyed, these are the things is calculated by the Jeremy Bentham by his philosophic calculus. And whereas J.S. Mill, John Stuart Mill, is one of the British political thinker of modern era. So he was proposed the representative governments. He was written a book on liberty. In that on liberty, he was highlighted the representative government. So how the government is representing and what are the kinds. So these are the things we need to discuss in detail about the liberty on liberty. So these are fourth units, and whereas the fifth unit is completely belongs to a philosophical dialectics. So here in the fifth unit, we have to need to discuss about two important personalities such as Hegel and Karl Marx. So Hegel was proposed the dialectics of the dialectic theory of history, and whereas Karl Marx was proposed the historical materialism and class war. So here the Hegel and Karl Marx were considered as the philosophers of dialectics. So that is why in the entire second semester, we need to discuss about the Western political thinkers from ancient to modern. Okay, so my dear students, this is about a brief introduction about the syllabus. So after completion of this chapter, we can understand. So by studying this chapter, the Greek political thought, we can analyze the various issues. Like if we go in detail about the objectives of this chapter particularly. So this chapter is exclusively discuss about the meaning of political thought and how the Greek political thought is originated and what is its scope and nature and how it was significant. So these are the things were highlighted by this chapter, Greek political thought. At the same time, we shall also discuss or we shall also understand the features of Greek political thought and the sophists. So after completion of this chapter, we can analyze who were sophists, what are their characters. So these are the things we can get an idea about the Greek political philosophy and Greek political thought after completion of this chapter. So let us go in detail about the first unit, the Greek political thought. Okay. So my dear students, so Greek political thought is one of the ancient political thought in the political science. So the Greek political thought is began in ancient Greek city-states. So we already discussed there are n number of city-states were there in those days in ancient time. So here, what is the time of ancient? So before Christ, 500 before BC to after 500 BC is considering as the ancient era. So in that era, there were a number of resources were found about the civilizations of various countries. So likewise, the Greek civilization is emerged in the Greek city-states. So in those days, there were approximately 150 city-states were there in the Greek, like Thames, Athens, Sparta, Milan, Macedonia. So like this, there are approximately 150 city-states were there. So the Greek political thought is began in the ancient Greek city-states. So it is the Greek political thought is one of the main important branch of political science, because political science is nothing but it deals about the state and the government. So that is why various definitions were given by various political philosophers. Political science is nothing but it is begins and ends with the state. So without state, there is no political science. And some of the political philosophers are stated that the political science is studies about the state and studies about the government. It is the studies, it is the foundations of state and the philosophy of government. So these are the things, these are the ideas were given by the various political philosophers about the political science. So that is why the political thought is one of the important branch of political science. So it explains the political thought is explains about the genesis, how the political thought was originated and how it was grown up, and what are the ideas of political ideas like liberty, equality, fraternity, justice. So these are the ideas, how these ideas were developed. So these are the things explained by political thought. The city-states served as the laboratories for political experiments, because if we go the sciences practicals are taken place in the laboratory. But whereas in the social sciences, for the social sciences, the society is the laboratory. Each and every activities takes place in the society. So that is why the societies are the laboratories to the social sciences. So in those days, in the ancient city states, these city states were considered as laboratories for their political experiments in those days. So the Socrates, Plato, Aristotle were famous political philosophers. So if you take Socrates, Socrates is the father of political philosophy. But whereas Aristotle is the father of political science. So they were contributed very much to the concept of political science and political theory or political philosophy or political thought. So Aristotle is considered as the ancient political thought of a father of ancient political thought. But why specifically Aristotle was considered as father of ancient political thought? It seems there is another father of political science in the modern era. So let us discuss in that concept when the situation is comes. So in the father of modern political science is Machiavelli. That is why Aristotle is considered as father of ancient political thought or ancient political science. And there are unique features about the Greek city-states, like there are different kinds of city-states, like Athens, Sparta, Milan, Thebes, Macedonia, Syracuse. So these are the some city-states, but it has its own unique features of that Greek city-states. So, for example, let us discuss one by one in details. The first feature of the Greek city-states is the small states. So, in the 5th century BC, the people lived in a city-states. The city-states were in a small size and small population. They were maintained as small families. So that is why Aristotle was studied 158 constitutions in the Greek city-states. So it seems that each and every state has its own constitution. Each and every state has maintained its own governments based the function is based on their own constitution. So that is why the Aristotle was studied 158 constitutions in those days while he was writing a book, Politics. So the city-states were Athens, Sparta, Milan, Thebes, Corinth, Delphi, Macedonia, Sparta, Athens. So these are the some of the powerful city-states in the Greek of ancient. So this is one of the main feature. And the second feature of the Greek city-states was all in all. It seems the Greeks worshipped same God and same religion. They have everything like church, school, clubs, ethical institutions, and they are promote justice, goodness among the people. So that is why the all in all is one of the best feature of the Greek city-states. And the third feature of Greek city-states is the good life. So here Greeks believed that the state emerged for the sake of good life of its citizens. So it seems the state's primary objective is the welfare of the people or welfare of the citizens. So they were greatly admired of city-states. They can attain their best through the state by believed that state is an ethical institution. So state is provide everything to them. So that is why they are enjoyed a good life. So that is why they were considered themselves as the intellectuals. So in those days, Greeks were thought themselves that they are the superiors, they are the intellectuals. So that is why they are enjoyed good life. And the fourth one, the fourth feature of the Greek city-states is the secular outlook. The Greeks always they are secular and they are open-minded fellows, and they are always followed same religion, and they are always followed or practiced the same uh, traditions, customs, and they were developed secular outlook. They did not underestimated one religion. They were did not uh, given priority to one religion. They are maintained secular outlook about the religions, about the customs, about the practices. So that is why they have a kind of secular outlook about their situations of those days. And another important feature of the Greek city-states is open living. So here the Greeks spent their much of time in the assembly or marketplace. So they did not spend their time alone. They always tries to be with people, and they always tries to negotiate with another various issues. So that is why they had no personal and private life. They whatever they are thinking, they are thought, they have to share their ideas by gatherings or in assembly places or in marketplaces. So that is why they always give priority to open living. They did not give priority to isolation. So they share their ideas with each other, and that maybe gives another kind of, someone maybe give or add his own ideas to that concept. So the dialogic method or the deliberative method knowledge is the best method of the Greeks. So that is why they always try to gain knowledge by by open living. So they always tries to be with people. So this is the important feature of the Greek city states, and they maintained different professions. If we go in detail about the another feature of the Greek city states, they have maintained different professions. There were no functional differentiations. One could work as soldiers for some time and judge as some time. And aliens, women, slaves were treated as, here the aliens, women, slaves were not treated as citizens. So in those days, there are three kind of people were living in those days in city states, like citizens, aliens. So here citizens, aliens, and slaves. So aliens were who are not belongs to the that particular place. They are aliens. They are migrated here for a particular time. So they were not given priority and they were not considered as the citizens. And whereas the second group is the slaves. The slaves also not considering as citizens. They were burned as slaves and they were died as slaves. So the slaves also not considered or not recognized as the citizens. And the third category is citizens. So they have only the entire authority about the political issues or political deliberations. The citizens are used to participate in political activities. So here the citizens number is very less with compared to the slaves and aliens. So here the citizens are minorities, but the slaves are majorities. Even though they doesn't have any kind of rights, they have only duties. But whereas citizens, they have only rights but no duties. So here, what I'm trying to say is that in the Greek city states, the slaverism was predominated in those days. The citizens were enjoyed all kind of services from the slaves. So these are the features of Greek city states. So if possible, in our next class, we will discuss about the special features of Greek political thought. Okay, my dear students, if possible, today shall we discuss? If you have patience, I can continue. Otherwise, I'll stop here and I'll continue. It is it in next class. Okay. So some up to now we discussed the features of Greek political thought, but there are some special features of Greek political thought. There is a difference between features and special features. Okay, so let us discuss about the special features of Greek political thought. So my dear students, here if we go to introduction, the Greek political thought has some special features. The Greeks separated religion from the politics. So up to that, the politics and religion was under the one umbrella. But when the Greeks were intellectuals and when they were started their own administration method, they are separated the politics from the religion. So they made state has secular institution. They were open-minded and they were grant they were great passionate about the criticism and importance of the laws. So when we tries to criticize a particular issue, then we have a clear cut idea about that particular issue. Then only we can try to criticize it. So that is why the Greeks are very famous in criticism. So while going to criticize a particular issue, we can try to know each and everything about that particular concept. For example, if we want to criticize the concept of democracy, so first of all, we have to know about what is democracy, how it is, what kind of its features, and what kind of it is practices, and how it is implementing, what are the loopholes. Then we can try to criticize the concept of uh, democracy. So like that, the Greeks were always the great passionate about the criticism. So it seems they always tries to know something about the new things. So they have, that is the special feature of Greek political thought. And open-minded people. The Greeks were always open-minded people. Their outlook is open-minded. They are not stable. Their aims was to find out the dynamic politics for their city states. Each state has conscious about the individuality. Who am I? What is my right? What I have to do and what I have not to do. So these are the things they have a clear cut idea about the contemporary situations of those days. So that is why they are very clear cut, open minded people. Whatever they want to say, they will say directly. So their looks are their outlook was very stable, very clear. So that is why this is also one of the main special feature of Greek political thought. And the second special feature of Greek political thought is the growth of political thought. So it has important reason for the growth of political thought, the home rule and self-guiding principles. So the home rule and self-guiding principles were the main features of the Greek political thought. It has to be rational thinking and reformative outlook. The rational thinking and reformative outlook is gives a clear-cut idea about the contemporary situations. That is why they were passionate to study various systems with abounding self-respect. So that is why Athens and Sparta were developed unique city-states at the Plato's time. So Plato, Aristotle were the founding fathers of Greek political thought. So they were developed their own ideas in the city-states, in the Sparta and Athens. So Sparta and Athens were the most developed city-states of those days. And the third special feature is the state. State is a man-made institution. It is not created by the gods. The state is created by the man. So according to them, there is no force for individuality in the state formation. The state is established for the sake of good life of the people. So they believe strongly that they can attain their best through the state. So here, state is one of the source to the individuals. So they can fulfill their desires by the state. So they develop the various political concepts like state, the government, democracy, sovereignty, justice, freedom, liberty, equality. These are the things they are developed by their own experience. So here the state is one of the main important man-made institutions. So the state fulfill the desires of the people. So here the state is the important special feature of Greek city-states. And citizenship. The citizenship is one of the important feature of the special feature of Greek political thought. The citizenship is given only few persons. I already discussed or I already said that there is no citizenship to all the people of city states. There are three kind of categories were there in those days, like citizens, aliens, and slaves. Only citizens have the citizenship, and they have only the right to enjoy the rights. But the other two groups, like aliens and slaves, they doesn't have any kind of rights, or they doesn't have any kind of political authority or political activities. So that is why the citizenship is given only few persons in the Greek city state. They only have the rights of political activities, and they developed the concept of limited citizenship. So approximately, if we take one state, so it has approximately, just imagine, this is just example. If one state has the 1 lakh population, so out of 1 lakh population, only citizens were 30,000. The remaining 70,000 people were slaves and aliens. So it seems the citizenship is very limited in the Greek city states. The citizens were minorities, but whereas slaves and aliens were majority people. So that is the special feature of Greek political thought. And the laws. So laws is also one of the special feature of Greek political thought. It given utmost importance to the laws. So it seems that Greek political thought is given very much importance to the laws. The terms virtue, wisdom, customs were the sources of their laws. They represented the constitutional and consciousness. They represented the constitutional consciousness among the people. So the Plato's book, like the laws were explained its importance in the state. So laws is one of the special features of Greek political thought. Here we should not forget, laws is one of the famous book of the Plato. So in that laws, the book laws, in that book, Plato was explaining its importance in the state. So how the laws are important. See here, laws are the heart of the state. So without laws, there is no importance to the concept of state. The essential to establish the state. So here, laws are very, very, very essential to establish the state. The citizens are obey the laws without fail. Otherwise, they can punish. So laws are the guiding principles of a state. So these are the special features of the state. And there are another special features of the state is the justice, the concept of justice. So the Greek city states are more ethical institutions. Justice is the important feature of Greek political theory. So here the justice is morality and justice were interlinked. So the concept of justice is linked with the states. So in the states, in the city states, each and every individual citizen is getting justice. But the slaves doesn't have right to claim justice. So we should not forget that. We should keep in mind always only citizens can claim justice, but whereas the aliens or the slaves doesn't have right to claim justice. And another concept is the education. Education is one of the most important feature of education is one of the most important feature and as well as the special feature of Greek political thought. Here, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle were the great teachers of the Greek city states. They were given, they were considered as the great teachers because the Socrates is the guru of Plato. Plato is the guru or master of Aristotle. Aristotle is the master or guru of Alexander. So like that, there are they are very great teachers. The Socrates has also his own guru or his own master. She is a woman, a Senitu. But from the Socrates, the political thought was familiarized. So that is why they were given most important to the concept of education. So according to the Greeks, the state's primary objective is to provide education to all the citizens, not slaves and not the aliens. The state's responsibility is to provide education to its citizens. I am specifying to the citizens have the rights to get education. Citizens have the right to get the benefits of the state. But whereas the aliens and the slaves have does not have any rights to get any kind of justice, any kind of rights. So the Plato was started academy. So Plato's academy was one of the first institution of the Greeks. So after Plato, Aristotle also continued the academy and he was started his own institution like Lyceum. So that is why the Republic, the Plato written's book, the Plato's Republic is the masterpiece of education of Greeks. So in the Republic, Plato was highlighted the importance of education and the psychology of the students and the the importance how education has to be given priority by the states. So these are all things covered by Plato in his book The Republic. And the great Greeks special feature is importance to the man. So Greeks were external youth. They were very curious and very eager to learn about each and everything. They were a race of seekers. They had abundant faith in reason. What, why, when. So like this, they are abundant faith in reason. Some of the famous thinkers like Pythagoras, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, or some of the examples. So that is why they were given the most importance to the man. They put the man at the center of the universe. So they were given importance to the man and his knowledge. So that is why the concept of knowledge or the concept of uh, wisdom is given priority in the Greek city states. So here I am going to conclude that the political thought is very much indebted to Greeks. They were given much importance to the state. They believed that state is exercised for the sake of man, but man not for the state. State is for the man, but man is not for the state. So this is the concept of the Greek political thought. So my dear students, here there is a possibility to ask question in a different manner, like write the features of Greek political thought. You can write any of the features which above mentioned. And if there is a possibility to ask the special features of Greek political thought, then we need to write these special features. If they ask generally write the features of political thought, then you have to club all the features, the general features and as well as the special features. So it will give a good clear-cut idea about the Greek political thought. So my dear students, here I am going to conclude this session. So please write down the notes. These are the notes of the first unit Greek political thought, introduction of Greek political thought. So it is one of the most important question. Write the Greek features of Greek political thought. So this question several times in examinations it was asked by the examiners. So write down the notes and try to read. If you have any doubts, please bring to my notice. So I'm going to conclude. Bye, my dear students. Take care. So I hope you all understand very clearly. My dear students, if you have any doubts or any queries about in this chapter, please try to bring to my notice. Bye. Take care.